Hi guys, welcome back to another episode. I hope you're all doing okay. I just want to preface this with I have recently lost my mind, and last night I got a PR package. Actually, I don't know if it was a PR package because no one told me that this was going to arrive at my house, and usually I get like a heads up, but it was full of makeup, and I never get makeup in like gifting or like PR because I guess I'm not like a makeup person. Like, I don't really talk about makeup. And I never buy makeup for myself because honestly, I don't know where to start. I'm intimidated by the entire market. But I got this PR package full of foundation, concealer, contour, blush, and I went a little bit crazy, I will be honest. It was a Friday night, I was alone. And I was like, new makeup, Friday night, I'm gonna have a glass of wine and do my makeup. And there was eyeshadow in there too, which I never have eyeshadow. Like I am terrified of eyeshadow because I hear people say like, if you do it wrong, it makes you look like you've been punched in the eye. And that is personally not my wishes for myself to, appear as such. And I'm terrified that I'll think it looks good and everyone's going to be like, is she okay? Does she need help? Like, because I think like purple looks nice. Do you know what I mean? Like, and then I'll just make it blotchy like here. Anyways, I don't know what I'm doing with makeup, so I never buy it. And I don't have any fun makeup, but I got sent this whole big box, which for all I know could be filled with poison because no one told me that it was going to come to my house. My thing today is I'm going to talk about morals and gut instincts because I literally have one of the most in tune bodies. Like, I will get gut instincts every time I meet a person. I am like in tune, and I feel like a lot of people are, but then we ignore it. Like, I don't know why, and I meet some people who don't ignore it, and they just seem like the most liberated people. Me, I ignore it. I don't listen. Every time my gut tells me that's a bad person, don't hang out with them, I'm like, oh, what did you say? Date them for 2 years? Okay. Let me tell you, I once went on this date with this person, and I literally thought, this person is the biggest douchebag idiot. Like, they are dumb, they are stupid, they are rude, they are disrespectful, their ego is outsized. I dated them for 1.5 years. Why did I do that? Nothing about them attracted. Okay, in my defense, they were incredibly attractive. Like, they are my hottest ex, and I don't have other hot exes. So like, I made a good choice in that respect, but like, oh my god, just sleep with them and get over it. Like, you don't need to introduce them to your parents. You hate them. Why are you dating them? Anyways, then I got attached to them and I made a bunch of excuses for them, which obviously didn't end well because I that's what I do. This is how I behave. And the thing is, it's disappointing because if I just listened to like my God-given instincts, my Cancer moon, Libra, Cancer sun, Libra moon, Sagittarius rising, I have 4 Cancer placements in my 8th house, and 2 of them, I'm gonna touch it. I don't know anything about astrology, but I do know that I'm supposed to have good gut instincts, and I do. I've never been wrong, I just don't listen, and then I have to learn the hard way that my gut was right. But for some reason, every time that I get a gut instinct, I'm like, this is the one time that I am wrong. Does anybody else have like animosity towards nuclear families? Okay, this family just walked past me. There is a mum, a dad, they have a dog, they have a little boy and a little girl. They're all in wellies and raincoats, and they're on a dog walk on a Saturday. Just keep that to yourself. Like, don't shove that down my throat. My god, go away. I remember one time, you guys know Centre Parks. If you're not from England, Centre Parks is like, it's like a trap for nuclear families, and like only happy families with a little bit of money go there. And it's basically like a really fancy version of Butlins. Again, you won't know what Butlins is if you're American, but just trust me, you don't ever want to go to Butlins. But Centre Parks, it's just like a family. You stay in little like houses, and like, it's just nice. Do you know what I mean? My family was Butlins family until my mum and dad broke up, and then we never went anywhere again. But Centre Parks families, I have a lot against them. And one time when I was like 15, my mum and her best friend took me, my sister, and her 2 kids to Centre Parks, and all we did the whole time, we're both from like split families, all we did the whole time was just evil eye people. I'll say it, I will, just kidding. But is it jealousy? Yes. God, I don't see why people shun jealousy so much. Like, it's a normal human emotion. Like, let me feel jealous, let me be bitter, I don't care, I'm not gonna do anything about it. God, I'm not gonna like throw rocks at nuclear families, I just don't like them. because I'm jealous. But I'm not even jealous because I wouldn't want to even be part of one, because I think a lot of my zest comes from not being part of one. Like, God forbid I was part of one. I don't want it. Shut up. God, I don't want anything to do with you guys. Okay, so anyways, morals. I always know if someone's good or bad. I can read people very well, but every time I'm like, oh yeah, but what do I know? I'm just a fucking big idiot. So I'm just gonna give them the benefit of the doubt, even though they've literally just said something like homophobic. I'm just gonna be like, oh, they didn't mean it. You know what I mean? Like, oh, maybe I'm just being too harsh, or oh, I'm gonna cut too much life out of my life if I listen to all my gut instincts, because most of my gut instincts, I'll be so real, like a lot of the time my brain is like, that's a bad person, and I'm like, you said that about the last 3 people, you can't be serious. It's probably right. Like, this world is a scary place, so like a lot of people probably don't have the best intentions, and that's fine, but like, just listen to your gut. I'm projecting. Every relationship I've ever been in, actually, I've had a gut instinct in the early weeks, months, even hours of knowing the person, where my body is like, please don't do this. This is a horrible decision. Like, we won't forgive you if you do this. This is gonna ruin everything. And I'm like, what? What? I can't hear you. What? And then I'll date the person for like an extended period of time. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? It's like, I don't respect my own peace or my own joy or my own happiness. But like, I do, because then every time I'm sad, I'm like gutted. And I'm like, I hate being sad. I'm never gonna make a bad decision again. It's kind of like when you get diarrhea and you're like praying to God that if he just lets you get through this, you'll never do anything wrong again. Or like, if he lets you not throw up, you're gonna just like be a Christian for the rest of your life, like devout. Like, you're gonna go yell things on street corners and stuff. That's kind of how my body is with me. I have to give some respect to most of my exes, because like, they didn't even try hide it. Like, I can sit here and be like, oh my god, they loved one me. They actually didn't. They were actually evil from day one, and you're just a delusional little bitch. Okay, here's what really pisses me off. When my friends are in a bad relationship, they're dating an idiot, they're like emotionally distraught over their relationship, I'm full of advice, and all my advice is good and it is correct. Like, I can sit here and I know that I'm saying the right thing. Like, I have such clear set boundaries and morals for everyone except me. I know how everyone around me should be behaving. I have morals that I are like inarguably right. Is inarguably a word? I don't know, but like, they are correct. Like, I have such a clear idea of how to communicate with people as well in my head. Have I ever communicated with anyone in my life? No. Like, in a relationship, if something's gone wrong and the person wants to talk it through, I'm literally gonna sit there silently and be like so upset and have like a lump in my throat and not be able to say anything. And then they're just gonna like emotionally dysregulate me. And when it comes to the conversation, I'm just gonna get angry and say things that I don't, not that I don't mean like in a mean way, but just like, I'm not gonna get my point across at all. I'm not even gonna try. My brain shuts itself off. I'm so dysregulated. Everything that they're saying is literally sending me deeper into the hole, like the abyss that my body feels like. And then I'll leave their house and like maybe go get a coffee, like hang out by myself for an hour or two. And then I have the clearest idea of how to communicate again. And I text them like the most well-worded paragraph when like, well, this is how I feel and this is how you made me feel and this is what kind of resolution I think that we should come to and this is how I'd like you to behave in the future. Like, I am emotionally intelligent as long as I'm alone. And this is why I say I love my own company. I hate being around people, because when I'm around people, it's almost like my brain pauses itself. It's like, I can't actually deal with these people or like this scenario, so I'm just gonna like leave you to it, and then I'm just walking around without a fucking brain. I'm just a body with like instincts. Like, I start burrowing and stuff and like speaking in squeals. I don't, it's awful. But I need to work on it. And I think probably the solution to my woes is date someone who doesn't emotionally dysregulate you every 10 minutes. Like, duh, that would be the obvious solution, but am I gonna do that? Well, I'm going to be real, not anytime in the near future. So I went to my dad's for dinner on Thursday, and he always asks, his love language is, how was your car? Because he knows there's always something that he can fix on it, right? So he was like, how was your car? And I was like, oh, it's not good. Like, it's making a couple ugly noises. which you guys will hear in my vlog, which will be up on Wednesday, by the way, or Thursday, depending on my mental state. So I was like, yeah, there's like a terrible, awful noise coming from it. So he was like, okay, he comes out to the car, he looks at it, he's like, your exhaust is literally wobbling, like it's gonna fall off. And I was like, we'll fix it then. And he was like, okay. And then he invited me around on the weekend, but before, so he's gonna fix it this weekend, or oh god, that's today. Oh god, I should text my dad. Anyways, he kicked it with his foot, and he was like, that should, I don't know, just kicked it. Just kicked my exhaust pipe. So I'm driving home after, and suddenly, like, the rattling becomes like, bong, 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 bong. And I was like, oh man, like, that's not a nice noise. And it's like something is smacking my car, but it kind of sounds like it's in my wheel, because it's like, every time my wheel is like going round, it's like, but like very loud. I'm gonna stop imitating it now. So I'm driving and I'm like, should I pull over? But like, there's no point me pulling over because I don't even know what to do. Luckily, there's no one on the road. I'm like in a country lane by myself at like midnight. So I'm like, you know, it's not like I'm driving on a busy road. Like, no one's gonna be bothered by this. Then something flies off my car. Like, it goes, I hear it hit the road behind me, and I'm like, did my exhaust pipe just fly off? And if so, is my car gonna explode imminently? Because that's like an issue. And then I just kept driving. And I made it home, and have I got it checked on yet? No, and I did look, and it wasn't my exhaust pipe, so I don't know what flew off my car. My dad is gonna have to figure that out for me when I go drive to his house tomorrow or today. God, I really should text him. Like I said, I have morals, so many, and they're so good. Like, I consider myself to be a really moral person, and like, not to toot my own horn, but like, actually quite a good person. But then, like, other people come into my life and I lose all my sense. And I was talking to my therapist about this, and he was basically like, I think that you have a lifelong issue where you become other people, because I have a phobia of sick, right? And every therapist, I think I talked about this in another episode, every therapist I've ever met has basically been like, oh, it's because your mum has a fear of sick, so you like picked up on it, which like, yes, that's human psychology. But then my current therapist, who is a genius, was like, yeah, but like, you picked up on that fear and your sister didn't. And we know that you're like quite an interpretive person, but do you think that you also have an issue where the things that you interpret, you pick up to be your own, where other people might not do that? And that's why also your relationships are so treacherous, and you say that you lose yourself every single time you're with another human being. And I was like, do you know what? Wonderful point. Probably yes. So I'm working on that. I'm not working on it, I've just become aware of it. But sometimes becoming aware of your faults is working on them. Because his astute observation was something that is genius to me, and I would never have come to that probably on my own. That's like really smart. Like, I wouldn't have got there. And yeah, anyway, that's my issue. I become everybody that I'm around. And here's the thing, I was listening to someone's podcast, I can't remember who, maybe it was Emma, and whoever it was saying that the company that you keep is contagious. And I love that word, because I was like, contagious makes so much sense, because I always say birds of a feather flock together, like 100%. Like, if you think the character of the company you keep has nothing to do with you, then like, oh my fucking god, you suck. You suck, you're lame, you're boring, I don't like you. And this doesn't go for everybody, because I think when you're young in school and stuff, like, you really don't have much control over who you're over. You're just trying to survive. You've probably got friends that like don't even know themselves. You don't really even know them, don't know what they stand for, don't know who they are. And also, if you're an adolescent, like, no one's acting in their own best interest, let alone your best interest, probably 90% of the time. So like, if you're one of my younger like listeners, like, don't take that to heart. Like, but I'm talking to like people in their 20s, like, the character you guys keep, we keep, us, that is crucial. Like, it is important, and it not only does it reflect on you, but it's contagious. Contagious is just such a good word. And I think for some people more than others, it really is contagious. Like, for me, I wouldn't say I have a weak sense of self. I would say, if anything, I have quite a strong sense of self. But for some reason, it's almost like I don't love myself enough to, like, maintain that sense of self when I'm around other people, or like when I'm in a relationship is when it really shines through, because I'm so like involved with that person. I know them more deeply, and I'm probably spending a lot more time with them, so there's more chance for me to become their carbon copy in the most it's almost like I only take on their bad qualities. And or maybe that's because I date people with like a lot of bad qualities. And by the way, I'm not talking about every relationship I've ever had, so like, let's not get carried away, but like, It's just like a tendency for me to do. And I've dated some like crazy people, like when I was younger and stuff, and just throughout my whole life, it's like a theme. I think I make more mistakes than the average person. And I say this a lot, and then people, my friends are like, don't be so mean to yourself, blah, blah, blah. No, like I do. And I'm not even like crying about it. I'm just saying, like, it's an observation. Like, I make some terrible errors. I do. And you know what? I was thinking about this the other day. I was like, why don't men believe in astrology? Like, why is that such a cliche of like men don't believe in astrology? And like, obviously, women were always the witches and got burned. Of the reason that like men are slightly less convinced by astrology and it's like known to be more of like a girl thing is because we have literal proof. Like, our bodies bleed with the moon. Do you understand how crazy that is? Like, deep that for a second. You bleed with the moon. And I know like a lot of people don't, like I personally don't because I'm on the pills, so I bleed when I decide it's time for me to bleed, you know, when I don't have a vacation or something. But like, we're connected, like we see that it's like a physical fact. It's not like an idea, it's not like a cute little idea, like it's literally the way it works. So I feel like we're just more inclined to be like, yeah, of course astrology makes sense. Like, why wouldn't we be affected by more planets than just the moon? Like, duh, we would be. So that is why I do believe that, like, I kind of believe in astrology. I just don't know enough about it because, like, obviously none of the shit you see online is really real. Like, there's so much more that goes into it. Like, that, you know, those big circular charts with like a million lines drawn. I want to know what those mean. I don't know what they mean. I kind of really want to go to a professional. I want to go to a professional, like past life person. And I want to go to like witches, and I want to go to like people who can like communicate with their dead. Although there's no one that's like really died in my life that I'm like super close to that I would like care to hear their thoughts. Like, I don't think anyone that I know has ever died that would be thinking about me up there, other than like my granddad. But I mean, he died when I was like 9, so I feel like he probably isn't thinking about me anymore. It's been a while and we don't really know each other. Sorry, granddad. I feel like that would be interesting, but what I really do not ever want to go to is like a future teller, because A, I don't know if I believe in that, but B, even if they were right, I just wouldn't want to know. Like, if I'm gonna be the richest, most successful person ever, I don't want to know. If I'm gonna fail and be homeless forever, I don't want to know. Like, don't fucking tell me. Do not tell me anything. Because often I think, like, I'll go back in my head, like, I could be sitting in bed, like, say last night, for example, and I have everything that I have now, whatever's going on in my life is going on, and then I could think back to, like, a time in university, or, like, a time when I was particularly, like, you know, down and out a little bit, and be like, I wish I could tell her, like, how good things are going, or, like, that this specific situation resolved itself, or how I feel about, you know, X, Y, or Z. But, like, realistically, if a genie came to me and was like, do you want to go back and tell that version of yourself then? I'd be like, no, because everything that had to happen to get me to where I am now. Like, you don't mess with the past, obviously. Like, no, I wouldn't. And also, I am that version of myself. Like, that's the same bitch. I'm still her. It's just a different point in time. So actually, she does know. She does know that things worked out fine. So, like, there's no need to go back and tell her because, like, I'm right here. But, like, you know, you get the sentiment of it. But, like, I just personally would never go back and, like, be like, everything worked out fine. Because, like, I didn't need to know that because everything worked out fine without me knowing that. And that's kind of how I feel now when I feel, like, particularly, like, down. Like, I've been such a bitch to myself lately. Like, anytime that I'm like, I see success or like I create something that I like or like things are generally going well for me, I'm like, well, enjoy it, bitch, because that's the last time anything's ever gonna go your way. Like, that is my attitude to myself lately, and I hate it. But, you know, I'm just letting things be because I like to think that you don't need to know that things are gonna work out for you. You don't need to have like an idea of the future, because the way things have gone in my life is incredibly obscurely. I can't predict where I'm going to be in a year from now because things have never gone like linearly for me. Like, I could be doing well right now, we could be sitting here having this discussion in a year from now. Oh my god, like if I could talk to myself, like if you could have me, future me, come sit down right now and she would say to me, you're actually like the world's most famous porn star, and you also have adopted like 6 kids, and you live in Antarctica, I would be like, bet, like, that's not that outlandish for me. Like, just, I would be surprised at the context of it, but I wouldn't be like, how did you get there? I'd just be like, somehow that adds up, like, fine, do your thing. Like, I wouldn't be that shocked that my life had gone that, like, not to my current plan. Do you know what I mean? Like, if me right now could go back and tell me 1 year ago that this is what I was doing, she'd be like, pardon? Because, like, a year ago, I feel like a lot of people don't realize how, like, fresh I am to all this, like, internet stuff. Because a year ago, I was posting on TikTok. What month are we in? March. So we're talking March 2022. I was posting, I think I had 100k followers in March, maybe slightly more. And I would post maybe like once a week, and 9 times out of 10, it was probably going to be to an audio, rather than like me opening my mouth. Or maybe I was opening my mouth back then. I can't remember. Anyways, life changed pretty rapidly for me. And I remember actually the first time I ever did a TikTok where I was talking, people liked it. Like, it got probably more views than like any other video I'd done. And so I would have been gassed. I would have been like, oh my god, what the hell? I'm literally famous. Like, I remember the video that I even posted. I don't even think it's still up on my account. I think I might have taken it down. I don't know. But I remember being like, I will never do that again though, because like people would surely just like hate me for it. Like, I can't like say things on this app. Like, that's not me. Like, the idea of having any kind of like personality put out there, I was like, that's terrifying and horrifying, and I'm never doing that again. And then I did do it again, and obviously now it's like, I literally never shut the fuck up. I don't know if people like that or hate that, but I definitely don't shut the fuck up regardless. Like, things change very quickly, so I'm kind of just bracing for whatever that means and trying not to be a bitch to myself in the meantime about whether I'm doing a good job or not. Like, you don't even know what your job is, because a year from now, I could bet that like me now would be surprised to hear what I'm doing in a year from now. So like, don't be such a bitch like, oh, you're not doing your job well. Yeah, you are, because even if you're doing your job badly, it's leading you to another job which is probably right for you. So shut up and stop being hard on yourself and just enjoy life as it comes. Do you know what I mean? So what the fuck was I talking about earlier? I think I was talking about my morals and how I have so many, and like, when my I'm gonna talk in really vague terms here so that people don't know who I'm talking about, like my real life people don't know who I'm talking about. But I had this friend once, and she was in this like shit relationship, and it wasn't like he was abusing her or like being a big arsehole. He was just like an emotionally unavailable idiot boy in his early 20s. Like, oh my god, no surprise. Like, just don't date one of them. Like, it's just don't date one of them. Like, he had so much he needed to go to therapy for, but he was one of those people that'd be like, I don't believe in therapy. She was dating this guy, and I was just like, you know, I was emotionally attached to him, so I could see through it and be like, dude, he's not going to change. And it's not that he hates you or doesn't want to change. It's just that he literally can't. And like, he even hates himself. Like, he's sitting there saying he hates himself for the way that he treats you. It's not that he's not aware of the situation. It's that he doesn't have the emotional tools to be better for you. He's a young guy. Leave him alone. Like, he has his own journey to embark on. You're not even helping him by being in his life, by being his girlfriend. Like, I know you think you are, but like, you're actually kind of putting a hindrance to him, and it's not your fault. Like, no one's doing anything wrong, but you just need to leave each other alone. Like, you're not good for each other. Just stop it. And it was such a tumultuous time in our friendship, because I was kind of like, it was one of those things where like, you're tired of hearing it, and it's like, you're not even, I'm going to type out the best paragraph of advice I've ever typed, and you're going to ignore me. And I totally get it, because I've been that bitch too. Oh my god, my friends have been so sick of me at times. Like, I've been in some horrid relationships, and it got to the point where I wouldn't even vent to my friends anymore, because I'd be like, I know they don't even want to hear this. Like, they've told me what to do 100 times. You know, this is nothing new. I can't burden them with this again. So then I will like cut my friendships off. And I feel like that's why you lose your friends in toxic and abusive relationships, because you can't tell them what's going on. And if you do, they're just going to get frustrated with you in the end. And it's honestly going to negatively impact your friendship. And so if you choose to stay in the bad relationship, that's why you become so isolated. And then you become even more scared to leave the relationship, because you have no friends to like go to, and you feel like this person is your whole world, your whole life, your whole social interactions, your social circle. Like, they are everything, but they're also the worst person you've ever met in your fucking life. It happens to the absolute best of us. Like, and the thing is, I could be in an evil, toxic, horrible relationship, and my friend is in the same situation, and I'm pouring out amazing, perfect advice to her that shows the best of my morals and the clearest of my communication abilities, and then when it comes to my own relationship, it's all out the window. It's all out the window. Like, I can't see straight, I can't communicate, my morals don't even matter anymore. I'm making excuse after excuse for the person, like, while texting my friend a paragraph on why she should leave the unemotionally available person. Who do I think I am? Also, I want to make clear that whenever I talk about like my horrendous life decisions or like bad relationships that I've been in, or like general stupid shit that I've done, I am in no way being like, ugh. I'm literally just observing it. Like, I could not care less. I could not care less. Also, any bad situation I've ever been in, I feel like I'm telling a story that is not mine. Like, I feel like I'm telling somebody else's life story because, like, I am so, and I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, or if it's just like time you just fucking move on, like you just do, and you become a new person and you forget about those experiences, you forget how they made you feel, because if you were in that same experience now, it wouldn't make you feel the way that it did then, so it's hard to like emotionally connect to that version of yourself. But like, I don't, whenever I'm talking about like bad experiences I've had in the past, I do not feel like that's my experience. I feel like I'm just chatting shit or like telling a story that is not even mine. Like, that is, I think that's why I'm so like, could literally sit here and be like, oh my god, yeah, like they used to like hit me and tried to like kill me once, and just be like, and I don't care, because like it doesn't feel like my thing. Okay, maybe sometimes it does, but like for the most part, I'm like very detached from all of my life experiences. Maybe I'll mention that to my therapist next week. Yeah, I will. I remember one time my friend said to me, and this was like an eye-opening thing because I had to defend myself, and I was like, oh my god, I sounded like a bit of an idiot just then. But basically my friend had been like, she joked, and she kind of has a way, this friend, of joking in a bit of a mean way, and I don't even think she means it, but sometimes it's good for me because I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe you just fucking said that. But there's an element of truth to what she said, and she's not meaning to be a bitch, but low-key she was a massive bitch by saying what she said. But it makes me become self-aware because like, oh, maybe she does mean it, maybe she's like, this girl needs to see what she's doing. I don't know, I appreciate her. But anyways, she said to me, she was like, you attract evil people. And I took so much offense because I was like, I don't attract bad things. Like, I don't like that. I don't like that. You've just said that. Like, I don't appreciate that kind of energy. I don't like you thinking that about me. Like, I don't attract bad things. That's not, what? Like, I don't have that energy. I was like, I don't like that you even think I have that energy. And I was like, no, because she was talking about my exes, and she was like, yeah, you attract evil people. And I was like, whoa. And then I was like, no, I don't attract evil people. I attract so many great people. I just choose to hang around the evil ones. And then I was like, god, that's almost worse. Good god. Like, okay, my friends are a reflection of me. My friends are good people with good morals, and they act nicely. They are kind, loving souls. My friends are some of the best people that I know, and most of my friendships have like been very long term, which I'm kind of proud of. It's my romantic relationships that I just seem to botch. I actually saw Olivia Neal's podcast, which I didn't listen to, but I saw like the title of it, and I didn't listen to it because I was like, I actually don't want to know what she's saying, because I don't want her to change my mind. I want to think about this on my own first. I do that with a lot of podcasts because I then want to listen, like I want to form an opinion and then listen to the podcast and see if I was wrong, or see how my own opinion can change, rather than just never having thought about something, listening to someone else's opinion and just taking their opinion on in the first place. Like, I do a lot of that. So anyways, I saw on her thing, it was like, relationships are a form can be self-care, and I was like, interesting, because I would like violently disagree. But then I was like, do you know what? If I could go back in time to uni, I would date someone. I didn't date throughout my whole university experience because I was like, well, I did, but I dated in my like year off, which was in between my first and second year. It doesn't matter. Anyway, I didn't date anyone whilst I was like actively at university, like studying and like going to classes and like living there. So the reason being was I had all these standards, and which is obviously a good thing. Like, I had a bunch of standards. There was no one I was interested in. It seemed like a big distraction that I didn't need, and I just really wasn't interested in it. But what it led to was me being so lonely. Like, a lot of my friends were in relationships. I didn't have like sleepovers at uni. Like, I had a flatmate in first year who was always sleeping in my room, or I was always sleeping in his room, and we would stay up all night watching the Purge for some reason. That was like our thing. But I never was in a relationship, and I never really had that thing where I would like be with someone all the time, or like have that kind of release from university. And that friend, we only really did first year together, and then he dropped out, and we just, you know, like I'm still really good friends with him, but like we didn't have like that kind of quality time with each other after that, because honestly I think he would have like met my needs with like, I wouldn't have needed a relationship if I had just him to hang out with. Like, he was my best friend, but not important. I wish I had had a university relationship, as a form of self-care. If I had been able to date someone who wasn't like emotionally tumultuous, because obviously that's a waste of time and a waste of energy, and then you're not going to do your fucking degree. But if it was just like a chilled relationship where like we've got, you know, I come into their circle of friends, they come into my circle of friends, it's someone to cuddle with and sleep with and be close to, and a home away from home. That's the thing I never felt that I had, was like a home away from home. Like I was always homesick at uni because I didn't have anybody like that I was close enough to, or like in any sense like really intimate with, or like cuddly with. Like I would go 6 months at a time at university and no one would hug me. Do you know what I mean? Like I was touch deprived, I was sad all the time, I was so lonely, and I had friends but they weren't fulfilling friendships for me, and none of them were female. I didn't have feminine, happy, healthy friendships. I just was friends with a bunch of guys, and none of them really served me very, very well. Like they were just company, and honestly not very good company. If I could go back, I would date someone, anybody, just to have that home away from home, that incentive to be there, that excitement. It's like having a work crush. You need a work crush. Like I used to work somewhere and I literally had crushes on like the most rogue people because it got me to work in the morning. Personally, I tend to be unhappy whenever I'm dating someone because I lose myself so much, and it's nothing to do with the other person. Even if the other person's a good person, I still lose myself, and that has to go. That needs to stop, because all I end up doing in a relationship is missing myself. I could literally be with the world's best, kindest person, and I'm still just gonna miss myself because I don't know how to maintain that sense of self when I'm in a relationship, and it's dumb as fuck. So that needs to go. But what I was saying was, like, it would have been nice to be in a relationship at uni and just kind of be less anal about it, because I was like really uptight, and it's good, it like reflects a good sense of self and purpose and whatever, but like, bro, I needed a cuddle so badly all through uni. I just needed a fucking hug. I was crying. That is the most depressed I have ever been and ever wished to be at uni. I was a mess. Like, if you guys could have fucking seen me, oh my god, it was really bad. Like, really bad. And I could have just dated someone, had a bit of fun, do you know what I mean? Like, I didn't even have a booty call all through uni. All through uni I didn't have a booty call. That's pathetic. Like, girl, have fun. This is pathetic. I just had to move locations because there was this guy next to me in a van the whole time, and I was thinking, like, this is so embarrassing, but whatever, it's just one guy. And then a bunch of teenagers emerged from the woods, and he's a fucking teacher, and they're doing DV. So I was like, I'm skedaddling right now, and I've moved to a safer location. But anyways, I'm gonna disappear because I've chatted so much shit and I don't even know what I've talked about. Again, I don't even know what I've said in this podcast. But okay, to surmise, I believe in astrology because of my periods. Relationships probably can be self-care, but also it might be a bit evil because you might not be into the other person that much and you're kind of using them, but also 3, I assimilate to people that I'm around, and it makes me just not want to be alone forever. That's why I love being alone, and I feel like when I'm in this car talking with you guys, it's the most me I ever am, and that's why I love doing these episodes so much. Like, it feels like a therapy session for me, because like I'm like finally releasing something and just being here and being myself, and then I don't know, kind of keeps me grounded. But I need to work on it. I don't know where to start other than to be more aware of it and then like stop myself when I'm doing it. But the thing is, I often don't care. I go through these phases where I'm like, fuck self-care, I don't care anymore. I'm gonna just be a bad bitch and live my best life. But like, girl, you're actually suffering, so stop. It's not your best life. You're literally suffering. So anyway, I guess that's it for me today. I was thinking maybe I'm gonna go get a Tesco meal deal on my way back, but then I was thinking, those pastas really do taste like metals. Now that they're like nearly £4, I can't justify it. I can't justify it, and that is how you know the economy is crashing. So anyways, that's all from me. I'm gonna go. I love you guys so much. Thank you for listening. If you got this far, I love you, love you, love you, love you. But Spotify will be up soon if that's how you prefer to listen to your podcasts. I promise I'm on it. We're nearly there. See you here next Sunday for another chit chat. I was also thinking of doing like a thing where you guys can write things and then we can kind of have like more of a two-way conversation, because I am quite aware that this is very just like one-sided. You guys are kind of just like listening to my woes, and I don't know how beneficial that is. So if you wanna, maybe I'll put something up on my Instagram story, or you guys can leave things in the comments that maybe you want to talk about, questions, advice. I can't give you advice, I know nothing, but you know what I mean. So anyways, I love you guys so much. I'll see you next Sunday. Bye.